Hello everyone and welcome to another ranking video. Yeah, no. I don't know how to start this, but we are ranking the band Rammstein, which is personally my favorite band of all time. My favorite band. So you know how I listen to like all the brutal metal stuff that I've covered and all that. Out of everything, Rammstein is still my favorite band because of the heavy riffs, the awesome synths, and the German language, and I've always just been interested in German culture and the German language, so they were always up my alley, and also their lyrics are pretty interesting to say the least. For this video, I will not be having like a graphic up in this corner for the album cover because I actually own all the albums, so right here, as you can see, are all the albums. So why not get into it? At number 8 is Zeit. Now, before I begin, I want to mention that I love or like every single one of their albums. I don't think they've ever made a bad album. And that is just not because I'm a mega fan. It's just I just fully believe that none of their albums are bad. Okay, they have some mid songs, and we'll get to them. In my opinion, they have no bad albums. So their newest one is probably my least favorite. I actually debated on whether or not the self-titled or this was my least favorite, but then I compared to like the weakest song and the strongest song, and I think the self-titled has a better weak song and a better strong song. So this one unfortunately just ended up being last. This album I enjoy a lot. I think this has some of their greatest like slower and sadder songs like Meine Tränen, Schwarz. Zeit is pretty cool. I honestly don't think it was like a great single. As a single, I think they should have like released like Zigzag first to get like the old fans hyped and stuff. Because Zigzag is pretty much like a classic Rammstein song. Angst is like a very like chuggy song, and also I think they tuned pretty low on that song too. And like the second half of the song is just so like doomy. It's awesome. Dicke Titten is goofy, but it's also a banger. Till uses some auto-tune on here, which honestly, some fans or some people complain about it, but honestly, it was used very tastefully and not overstaying its welcome, so I didn't really, it didn't bother me at all. The worst song on here is probably Okay, which means own a condom without a condom. It sounds more like a Lindemann song than a Rammstein song in my opinion, and I think the chorus is kind of mid, gonna be honest. But the last half of the song instrumentally is cool. Otherwise, yeah, I think this is a great album. It's just the rest of their albums are just like better in my opinion. And then number 7 is their self-titled. Album cover wise, it's pretty disappointing. It's like the most simplest thing of all time. I mean, it's not a bad cover. I think it fits, especially the vibe of the album. But if I were to rank them on base the album covers, this would probably be dead last. Anyway, Deutschland is just an incredible song. Honestly, it's incredible. Zeig dich is one of my favorites too. I didn't like Pupa when it first came out, but I gradually started to love it because it's just so like sinister sounding. It's just great. Diamond, that's the weakest song on this album. It's just like a 2-minute bass and Till singing, and the verses are pretty cool. But I think it's like a mid-tier Rammstein song compared to just everything else. Hello Man is just, I love the bass line in that song, and also the vibe of it, of like someone kidnapping a little girl. It's just very creepy. Was ich liebe is just one of my favorites too. It like puts a feeling in me, and it's also very nostalgic because when this album came out, I was in college. And this album overall is very nostalgic in like the 2019 to 2020 era, mostly 2019. Auslander is just like a just a bop. It's a bop. It's something like you'd put on in like club. It's just so fun. Radio is awesome too. I as soon as the single came out, I was like, okay, we're in for a great time. Um, the production on here is great. Um, the music videos for some of these songs are outstanding, as Rammstein's known for, because they have just incredible music videos. Overall, great album. The only reason it is this slow is because I prefer the songs on literally all the rest of the albums besides Sight. So yeah, that is number 7. So even though this album that I'm about to talk about gets shit on a lot, and I do have it at like 6, I'm going to be defending it most of the time. So this is Liebe ist für alle da. So, this album, if we were ranking it based on drums, this would be number 1. Christoph is absolutely on fire the entire album. Like Ramlied, Ich tu dir weh, especially Vitamins Heil, Buchstabu, the title track, just, it is incredible. It is incredible. The drumming on this is just peak Christoph. One of my the first 3 tracks on this are absolutely fire. They're like top tier Rammstein songs. The only reason why I have this lower is because songs like Rotersand and the Wiener Blut in Führing in Paris is just they're alright. I mean, like, this album could be probably number 3 in my opinion if those songs were replaced for like Führe mich. That's on like a bonus edition of this album. But otherwise, this is one of their heaviest albums. And they also lean a lot into like the symphonic stuff on this one, which they have since Rise. No matter what fans say, I will always appreciate this album and always like, cause like, especially like, it looks so cool. The album cover itself is cool, and I loved. If you look at like live videos and stuff, I loved this era of the band too. I love this album. Besides the song has besides like I said, it has a couple like filler tracks, but the really good tracks are perfect. They're fantastic. So anyway, that leads us to our number 5. That is Rosenrot. Steig ich auf zum Sonnenschein. Rosenrot gets shit on a lot too. I don't know why. Because this is like their most like somber sounding album. This and Zeit are their most sorrow sounding albums. Besides, like, they both have like goofy songs. Like this one has Te Quiero Puta and Feuer und Wasser is goofy. So lyrically, I'm speaking lyrically, but the goofiest song on here is Te Quiero Puta. If you haven't heard it. This Storen is like one of my favorites of theirs. It's like so heavy too. Hilf mir is like their most somber sounding song. I love that song. It always makes me feel like, I don't know, helpless and in despair. It's just incredible. Stirb nicht vor mir is also very somber sounding. That's pretty too. Even like ein Lied, which means a song, is pretty cool. Like, I don't know. I really like the vibe of this album, and you really can tell what vibe you're gonna get just by looking at this. It's like cold, dreary, just incredible. Um, yeah, there is not a single song on here that I don't like. It's a peak album. I will give you that. It's peak. All right. So this one is my most controversial opinion, but even though this is number 4 on my list, it's Mutter.
Könnt ihr mich spüren? Könnt ihr mich sehen? Könnt ihr mich fühlen? Ich verstehe euch nicht.
So, in my opinion, this album is overrated in a lot of circles because a lot of people think this is their best album. It's not even number 3 in my collection. To start with the positives, I like every song on here. My favorite would probably be, I don't know what my favorite would be actually. Links maybe? Yeah, honestly, I don't know which one would be my favorite. Maybe Zona or Links probably. So in my opinion, I think some of the songs repeat way more than they should. And I think from Spielor to Nabel, I think those songs are weaker compared to like the first 6 songs. But I still like it. Remember, I think Rheinraus is great. Zwitter is good. But in my opinion, I think some of these songs repeat too much. But that's just my opinion. That's all I have a criticism for. Remember, this is my favorite band, and I still love this album. And also, if you have a favorite band and you can't criticize and you're too blinded by the fact that they're your favorite band, then I don't know. I just found that just to be stupid. I can find many criticisms of Rammstein. But anyway, this is my number 3, Reise Reise. This album is a fucking masterpiece. Some of their best songs and like the title track, Mein Teil, Dalai Lama, Los America. Stein um Stein are one of my favorite songs by this band too. Just the sorrowful lyrics of like building like something around like your loved one and having no like doors or windows. Ohne dich. I just think some of their best ballads are on this track or on this album too. Amor is cool too. Los, it's pretty much entirely acoustic, and it's heavy too. And it's like that's one of like the most like lyrically like lyrical songs. Like it has so many lyrics in it, and I ended up memorizing it like when I was in like high school. That's how much I love that song. Dalai Lama is just a fantastic song. I think it's one of their most underrated too. I don't have much I don't have much to say like negative about this besides I think Morgenstern and Moscow are probably the weakest songs on this album, but I still like them. Morgenstern is kind of goofy. But hey, what else can you get from this band too? So. All right, so you know how I said how I said about Motor that it repeats too much. Well, my second Herzeleid. Has that problem too. However, I like the songs a lot more on this album compared to Motor. This is my number two, their debut. I got the deluxe edition when it got repressed. There is not a single dud on here, not a single one. Zeman is awesome. Durik So Gut is incredible too. I got obsessed with like most of these tracks when I got into this album, but songs like Das Autolied, Like Sight, those are like the only two songs that I put off and I came back to. I'm like, holy shit, these are incredible. The title track repeats a lot, but it's incredible. It's about like the Rammstein like air show, where like planes crashed and people died. That's where they got their name from, is from that. Wollt ihr das Bett in Flammen sehen? Incredible opener. It repeats a lot too. But the song is incredible, and also there's a Doom sample on the song on that song too, like the shotgun sample. Heirate mich, I've always found that song to be incredible, and also when you don't know what he's talking about, you're like, okay, it's a banger, and then once you look at the lyrics, you're like, oh, because it's about a dude digging up his loved one into. It's about necrophilia pretty much. But anyway, incredible album. This is incredible. All my boys lined up in a row, all shirtless and oiled up. Alright, so if you couldn't tell by now, this is my favorite album by them, and this is also my second favorite album of all time. There's so much I could talk about this album. With the opener Sehnsucht, that fucking awesome riff, and that chorus in that song, just Bestrafe mich has been my favorite song by them for a while. Just the riffs, it's so heavy. Du hast, that's the song that got me back into them, because it played on the radio when I was at my dad's, and I'm like, maybe I should get more into this band. And I did, and now they're my favorite band. Du hast is probably their most overrated song, but it's still a banger. Buch dich is just, I love that hammering riff. Klavier is just incredible. It's like the story of it is just awesome. To give you a brief, it's about a dude who has his significant other play piano for him, and then he locks her up in an attic, because he wants to hear her play forever. And then in the second half of the song, her parents find out and she's dead. Yeah, so Alterman is just, man, it's not even my favorite Rammstein song, but that chorus is just so incredible. Eifersucht. I listened to that song one time when I was like driving in the fog, and it freaked me out for some reason, but it's an incredible heavy song. And Kusmich, that song took a while to grow on me because of the Looney Tunes like wacky sample. And I didn't even know it sampled Looney Tunes, but it does. And honestly, that makes it like more interesting to me now. yeah, so this is my second favorite album of all time. I love it to bits. I'll never get tired of it. So yeah. So anyway, that is my entire collection and my ranking of all their albums. I love this band, and I will never get tired of them. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, please leave a like or subscribe, and I'll talk to you all later.